So, let me pause that. That's old souls from Inception, and honestly, I don't remember destroying subwoofers quite that efficiently. Hi, I'm Zeospantera. This is Z Reviews, and that is a subwoofer I got on Black Friday. And when I bought it on Black Friday, it had a huge coupon, 45% off. It's the beginning of October, and for some reason, that coupon is still applicable. This sub, the OSD, let me get the name, because it is not normal, is the Tre Voce triple driver powered subwoofer dynamic power EQ DSP app control, faux leather finish, 15-inch EQ DSP app control. $8.99, apply a 45% coupon. That makes this subwoofer under $500. And I bought it. It's very rare that I buy a thing, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about things. Do you remember this subwoofer over here? Wait, welcome to the great room. It is great, but hard to make sound happen. Remember this thing? The cat scratch box 10-inch little OSD? During the review of that, well, when I was looking up to load the page, I saw this, and I saw it for like $950. I'm like, God damn, I'd love to try that. So come Black Friday, boom, 45% off coupon, purchased, get it here, and I'm like, well, I want to break it in. And the thing is, these drivers, because if you haven't noticed, there is sort of a three thing going on here. This is a non-ported, instead of ports and not being sealed, it is a passive radiator sub with a front-firing 15-inch, which I swear to God, I cannot find where I put the cover. There's a cover that installs inside of this and covers this. This is like a rock, the surround on this. In contrast to like the $1,200 HSU, where it's a very soft, thick surround, this is a very tight surround on the driver. It's on my rolling dolly. And then on the side, you have very tight passive radiators. So each one of these is passive, but that doesn't seem to matter. Oh my God. Oh. So I put it up here in the great room, and if you haven't seen my video on the mono solution, there's a little JBL center channel, got an Emotiva mono block behind it, and that's all this TV does, is scream out of a single center channel. Previously, I have had this Klipsch 15 over here, acting through their wireless controller from Emotiva as the subwoofer to sort of fill in, so that speaker would create the sound that shoots out the TV, and then this would sort of fill in everything that little center channel couldn't do. Throw that thing right in the trash. I mean, I'm not going to. I'm probably going to move that somewhere else now that this thing exists. But I didn't think a subwoofer that I personally got for $500, which I assumed was a $1,000 sub, but now it seems to be almost permanently a $500 sub, could move the wiggly air, to quote Golden Sound, to make the air wigglies so violent. And that is the only way to describe this. I've been running through the Inception soundtrack here. I'll put on Mombasa for a second. Just a clip. You know, I can't play a lot on YouTube, but let's fast forward a little bit. There's a weightiness to this sub. Now, I was gonna eventually move it down to the basement, put it in the 0.1 position, but I'm having too much fun, and I think instead of bringing this downstairs, I'm gonna bring it out to the garage for the other thing that needs bass. So this was actually up here originally, not for the center channel. I had the Klipsch 8060 towers, which are pretty fucking significant towers with dual 8s. And when you want to add bass to that, you need to sort of like not fuck around. You can't fuck around there, buddy. So this thing was actually providing low-end reinforcement for a giant tower speaker from Klipsch. This is the best buy in audio for $500, period. I actually saw OSD when I went to CEDIA, which is one of the reasons I like traveling to new places and doing new things. When I went to CEDIA, they had a booth. OSD had a booth. There it is with the cover. See, it's just a cover. I don't know where it is. There's a big black square somewhere. I just didn't want to have it on front because I want to see the thing move. But they have an 8-inch version of this, a 10-inch version of this, a 12-inch version of this, and this 15. Let's see what the prices are. because I'm curious now too. So you get the 8-inch for $400 and a 50% cool. What the fuck is happening? Below this video, in the description of this video, all 4 of these subwoofers will be linked. Even though it's 1 page, I'm too excited. I'm gonna link all 4. Could you, what? We haven't even gotten to the DSP. There's an app. You can sit on your ass on the couch with this hooked up to your point 1 and literally fuck with all the settings. The back's got an XLR input. I'm so, oh my God, okay. How much for the 10? Okay, 400 minus 50% for the 8. How much? Coupon first, 45% off. So the 10-inch is $250 or $260 math. The 12-inch is it's $300 for the 12-inch, and because it's 45% off that. And then the 15 here, even though it's the most expensive at $900, this is dumb. OSD, in case you don't know, their store, there stands for like outdoor speaker devices or something. Outdoor speaker, it's like they're sort of trying to change their whole image, because it originally started with outdoor speakers. But now they're like whipping out some monstrous subwoofers that are definitely for home use. And they had panel speakers at Cedia, and I need to find their goddamn card and email them, because I want to review every one of these. Because here's the thing, a passive radiator is usually the more expensive option. You get more control. Vanitu's have them, boot carts have them. Instead of a port where you can get a chuffing noise of air going in and out, you have another driver. Let me minimize this now that I've stared at it and fucking, ugh. You have another driver that when this goes in, that comes out, or actually in this case, both go out, and it just has to disturb and wiggle the air in every direction where it's required. Now, the way I've got this set up, so you're not confused with why there's a DAC on the top of it, running off a battery pack, is, well, there's a DAC on top of it running off a battery pack. Fiber optic in from a television. My television's being fed, obviously, signal from the computer. And the television has a headphone out, which goes down to that JBL through the monoblock. And then the fiber optic, which is coming through, which is also controlled by the computer, is going to this. This is a topping E50, which is just setting a remote controllable volume for the sub, so I could just tune it in like every once in a while. And I've just got some RCAs going to the back. Let's look at the back. We're gonna get down on our knees. This thing weighs 97 pounds, by the way, in case you're wondering. First thing that strikes me, there are full speaker line-ins. So if you watched my video on how to set up a subwoofer, the easiest way to do it, if you have I have a speaker setup, Zeos, I have an amp and 2 speakers. What do? You take your amp that has the speaker wires coming out of it, you put 2 speaker wires coming out of it, the other ones can be really thin, they're not actually carrying power. You run those little tiny speaker wires here, or you run your speaker wires out of your amp into this, and you run your wires out of your subwoofer into your speakers. It's just tasting the signal and doing the amplification. That is the easiest way to implement a sub. It all volume matches no matter what your source does, your amp does, it all will match once you set it. So this has high level ins. Then you've got the RCA ins, a stereo pair, which means if you're using a DAC and you have, let's say, studio monitors, your XLRs would go to your studio monitors and your RCA outputs in the same DAC would go to the RCA ins. In stereo, you need 2 for that to work. You have an LFE input, which is dedicated for like a home theater receiver. And I swear to God, I've reviewed how many subwoofers and been touched and talked about. There's a balanced input. There's an XLR balanced input. Where has this been? Because I literally run XLRs constantly for my subwoofers, because you can get a $30 cable, Zeos linked in the description, $30 XLR cable, 30-foot XLR cable for like 15 bucks. So I just get adapters and I run a 45-foot XLR and then I use an adapter again to come back. But this could just take the XLR balanced input like a high-end surround processor would give you in the first place. So then we gotta look from the bottom up. Power, normal power on-off switch, your 110, 220 switch. You get your volume, which is maxed out because we are using the DAC to control the volume. You get your crossover, which goes from 40 to 160. I've got it basically completely vertical. We'll talk about the app in a second. I have a 0 to 180 phase switch. I set it to 180 simply because it was sitting 6 feet in front of the speaker, so I assumed that might be a help. Phase is basically, instead of going whoop, it goes whoop, so it's a timing thing. You have your power mode, which is on currently, or auto, so it auto shuts off, or off, or turns red. I do think that blue LED might be a little bright. You might want to put something over that, a piece of tape, in case it's illuminating the wall in your home theater. And then you have the last switch, which is app DSP on and off. Currently set to off. When you turn this switch on, it goes pop. Now we could load the iWoofer app, which is as meh as you think an app called the iWoofer app will be. Hold, please, while I minimize my phone and we go to the letter I. I like a big alphabeticalized list. I forget what launcher I use. Action launcher. If you want to get your phone, look, this is my desktop. There's just a little folder with the 16 things I use most. And you have a pull-out with everything alphabetical. And then you can just go to the iWoofer app. I don't understand people understand like a 5,000 icons of what they look like. I want a directory list. So here is the OSD 15-inch Trident sub. This is Bluetooth, by the way, how it connects. We're now connected to the sub. I can't believe that worked first try. When you hit save, it will upload your profile to it. So you can adjust things. It will adjust them live. Like if we put on, how do I play something without getting copyright strike? Because I want to show you the gain being adjusted. Now that I have that switch switched.
Huh? What?
The fuck? Song for the deaf. Okay. Holy shit. All right. There, gain down, gain up, gain down. Well, thank you, Queens of the Stone Age. You did a great job. So you could literally adjust the gain from 0 to -40. -40, I believe, is just off in this particular app. And that's the third option down. The crossover looks like this. You get an actual crossover graph with parametrically equalizing on and off. And you can, let's see, put it on. So we can drag your finger and adjust. Like that's what's way down. So that's 0 is there. And then we could switch to this side, I think, is, how do we tap this? There, now we could adjust how far out it reaches. This is some fucking $1,500, $2,000 SVS sub sort of shit. And it's built into the sub. And here's the thing, months ago, I bought a little $50 unit. That was this. It was just an RCA in and an RCA out. I never got around to reviewing it. It does the same thing to any subwoofer. So below in the description will also be the little $50 OSD sub control. Add sub control with your phone to any fucking subwoofer as long as it's a single RCA. So you get to adjust the high filter, the low filter, and then you get to hit add, and you could add another thing there. How does that work? How does this work? How does anything even work? Add, and then another add. Oh, there you go, there. Now I can drag it down. So there was another, oh, I lost the one here. Can I do, oh my God, like. The fuck for $500. And I think every sub they sold, the 8, 10, 12, and 15 have this. So now I've set it, there's a dip now here at, what's my frequency? That's 50. There's a dip at 60. So if you knew where your room node was, or if you notice that there's like a weird, like a big bloaty sound, you could literally take this and I think, well, let me tap it. There's a way to do it where you got like, there, I tapped it. Now look, I could slide that fucking, what is this? So I can just find the room node and just dull it out. Looks like I'm touching a butt. Okay. So there, you've got the crossover, which you set, and you set your parametric equalizations. Your options are basic. I think it's just the name of the unit if you want to rename it, factory reset, pairing codes, hardware controllers, auto on and off, that's things. Your SHS control, which is subharmonic synthesizer. Think back, ladies and gentlemen, far back to the not the RME, the GoRack, the DBX GoRack. The unit. On my second channel, I did a video because I explained how I have that set up for my whole subwoofer down there. There was a sub-synth button on the DVX Go Rack. And what that did was it generates harmonics at half the original frequency. It is kind of bass restoration suitable for old tracks with hard kick drum, makes it heavier, etc. Real quick explanation of that, because it literally doesn't appear anywhere else in audio, and I love that feature. If you're listening to music that doesn't quite have like dead mouse fucking wub 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 wub, but it has like bass, like just enough bass. What that will do, and you could set this as a percentage from 0 to 100, is it'll take something in the 70 to 100 hertz range that feels like it's a kick drum, and it'll pick that up, it'll move it over, and it'll make it 30 hertz, which is bass, which is sub bass. So that's literally to take your music and take, if it has bass, there's already bass there, like real bass. But if it has a little bit of light bass, it'll pick that up and drop it on top of the bass, essentially enhancing your bass through synthesis. A purist will never put this on, a bass head will, and considering you can get this for $500, I think, oh, the bass heads are watching. Hi, how you doing? So you could turn that up. Let's just set this fucking thing up to some weird shit. You got your delay. This is probably the most important thing to have on an app, because you're sitting there, you're watching a movie or looking at an anime girl. Why is my mouse doing it's real annoying what it's doing currently. It's like flashing it over and over again. You're sitting here staring at an anime girl, listening to Queens of the Stone Age or Queen or Quigley Down Under. Let's just shuffle a few times. I want to keep, come on. So, holy fuck. Okay, that was a car door slamming. Can I go back and play it again? Hold on, I'm gonna hear that car door slam again. Yeah, okay. I was wondering why it was just shit my pants. Okay, so now the delay, you sit there watching your movie, and one of the hardest things to tune, because you have to constantly get up and go back and do, is the delay of the subwoofer, because it's a certain distance, and it's like, it doesn't cohesive. How do you, it isn't cohesive, but I feel like there's a word that would make it like it isn't coercing. So you could just literally drag from 2.5 milliseconds to 65 milliseconds. That's over half a second. You can delay it, and you could do it in tenths. Oh, well, I can barely do it to tenths of. Oh, yeah, zip to 14.5, 14.4. If you got a really steady thumb, you can get tenths of a millisecond delay to just get it perfect. And then you have phase control, and unlike a switch, like this is 0 to 180, you get a full fuck 10 hertz to 10,000 hertz phase control. I have no idea what that actually relates to, because phase is 180 or 0, so it's, I'm not gonna argue it. I know it works, because you could actually just, that might be more important than the delay, come to think of it. Then you have enable compressor control, enabled, limiter compressor control, so it won't bottom out the sub. If you tend to play things really, really loud, you don't want your sub to explode, you can put on a limit compressor, so that if it knows the signal is gonna go way too high, it will literally just stop it, and your subwoofer won't blow up. That's good for me, because I tend to be an asshole. There's also dynamic bass control, which I don't have any information of it here. I was reading through the instruction manual, because it actually comes with a manual written in English. It's wild. And I think that, at least from my guessing of what that should cover, preset manager, hardware, crossover menu, phase, the first order all pass filter phase, sometimes needed to match the phase of the main speakers in the crossover region. So yeah, the phase isn't, is that, I don't know why it goes up to 10,000 still. The delay controls, there's a gain slider. Is there anything else on the back? Dynamic bass control isn't listed here. What I think that'll probably do is probably like a midnight mode or a, so if you have it playing quietly, it sort of just gives you a little bit of boost. And if you have it playing loudly, it sort of closes it down and keeps it all sort of related to the compressor, but more of along the lines of if you're playing it quietly, it'll still give you some oomph that you can hear. And if you're hammering it, it's like, okay, let me calm you the fuck down. And then there's about. And then if I hit save, it saves, I'll save it with the date, and I could hit export. Oh, I could set it, I could literally send it via Telegram to someone if you want to have that. But that's it. That's it. This is my name. Cancel the changes. Maybe I don't have to upload it. I thought I had to upload it. Maybe I was doing that for a firmware update. Anyway, so now the subwoofer's set to this weird fucking mode that I don't even know what I just did with DSPs and timing and everything. Skip that.
What the fuck was I talking about? So True Blue was about a guy, potential girl that meets a nice guy, but like a virgin was a metaphor for big dicks.
I wanted to make him say big dicks. Mr. Robot. You'll never get a not bassy Mr. Robot soundtrack song. Oh, there we go. The thing about this subwoofer and the way it sounds, because we've got to talk about how subwoofer sounds. Now that I've been broken by the HSU, I don't think this has the quality of the HSU subwoofer. That thing is $1,200, beautiful finish. Dr. Hasu is fucking crazy as far as like how it sounds and how it works. This is a Minecraft fucking TNT cube. It looks like a Minecraft TNT cube. In fact, if I got some paint out, we could probably make it look like a Minecraft TNT cube. Because I never know when it's gonna just go bah and scare the shit out of everybody living here and shake things along the entirety of my home. And it sits there just adding a rumble when it needs to be there. I'm amazed it sounds as good as it does, considering I just fucked with the app randomly and didn't like sit down and actually do many measurements. Let's do another Mr. Robot truck. Do I remember my hotkeys here? Uh-huh. Too much glassware. You feel this subwoofer in your chest, and we're in a room with like, I don't know, 600 square meters of air. I fucking hesitate. Imagine putting this in a small environment where it isn't just like free to breathe. If you have a small bedroom, you'll die. You'll die because it's shooting in every direction. Usually there's a subwoofer that's pretty controlled. You got a front firing woofer or a down firing woofer. A lot of times I'll turn it towards a wall if that wall is made entirely of 8 inches of concrete. My basement is a great example. The subwoofer points at the wall because concrete won't move. This will shake like a bastard. And with this, it's kind of hard because you have only one side that won't be affected by the absolute violence of the wiggly air. I'm set just both in the app and here. I think the app is still set to 100. But I have 15 more decibels I could push that DAC. And I've been a dumbass and I've actually hit the limits of this subwoofer, but only when I've had it through the not app controlled and I didn't have that option on. So if you set it to like, I don't want to use the app mode, you can excurge this subwoofer. It's not even like that powerful an amplifier. I think it's 400 watts. Let me tell you what 400 watts can do. A lot. My Rhythmic that I've been pimping forever, even though that is a, what type of rhythm? What is my Rhythmic sub? Oh my God, my brain. I'm hopped up on chocolate milk and coffee. You could tell it's a coffee review. Yeah, well, my Rhythmic sub has a 400 watt, but it's got that, system that controls how far it measures the distance. This is not doing that. This is too affordable. So even at $1,000, this sub doesn't make sense. For the speaker wires in, it's got the separate LFE. It's got a fucking XLR input. So you could integrate it that way. I wish it had 2 XLR inputs. Then this would literally take over the recommendation for anyone using studio monitors. If this had 4 XLRs, 2 ins and a pass-through out, life would be fucking solved for anyone who's like, I got a mixing console and I really want, you know what? I think the word might be accurate. And this might be an accurate sub. This feels like a studio sub in that it doesn't have a lot of flamboyant weirdness to it. It almost is accurate, but it's like, how do I put this? It's like if your surgeon was Andre the Giant. Like, oh, he's very well trained and he can do surgery, but his hands are like this big, and if he fucking decided to kill you in the operating table, he'd just go boom, and you'd be dead. This might be the world's most powerful, accurate subwoofer. And it's just because of the tightness of everything. Like if the surrounds and the drivers were a little bit more loosey-goosey, and it kind of went whomp whomp with the bass instead of like boom, it hits and it retracts immediately. One of the benefits of not having a port is instead of air flowing in and out, it's all trapped in there. If a fucking guy who built it farted inside that fart would exist inside that subwoofer forever. Think about that for a couple of days while you're showering or going to bed or trying to make love to your wife. That if someone farted in that or coughed COVID into that, it would never leave. It would never leave. The smell of whatever country of origin that is, which is probably China, is inside of that. Because when you seal a subwoofer, it is sealed. And when you put a passive radio on it, all you're doing is fucking with the air that's living inside of it. I wonder if you could fill a subwoofer with nitrogen, like they do for tires. They do nitrogen tires. Iggy and the... Oh, wait. I see some Junkie XL. Deadpool soundtrack? No, Mad Max Fury Road. The DOOFWAGON. I think that's a... That is dumb. That little clip, that little $1,000 clip. So that clip when it was new, note the shoes and clothes. That clip when it was new, which is about 5 years old now, was $1,000. Doesn't hold a candle to what this is capable of. That's just, I don't know if that's technology enhancing or just... It's just a violent little box. And it's such a tight little violent box. Please do not take that out of context. Oh, you could hear... I could hear the odd drum that's too high because I was fucking with the equalizer. So it's reaching way too high up now. And I can actually hear things in this 38 special track. Somebody Like You, I could hear that they don't belong there. So I gotta go back in the app and gotta take that, whatever I reached into the 200 hertz range and bring it way the hell down. This is an amazing subwoofer at $1,000. At $500 with a coupon, if you're a patron, you're seeing this first, by the way. Since I changed my release schedule to every 3 days instead of every 2, a lot of stuff. I'm going to be in the sun, so it looks dramatic. A lot of stuff is going to stay on Patreon for way longer, 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks. Because I just want to keep making videos, and I want to give them to people so they'll go to my patrons and subscribe to supporters. If you're watching this publicly, I'm recording this October 5th. Whenever this comes out publicly, if that coupon is no longer available, it is still worth $1,000. It is still one of the most impressive fucking sounds you can get out of a subwoofer, as far as how it's producing it. I'm gonna move this now. It's an unfortunate side effect. I'm gonna move it to my garage, and I'm gonna put it in line with those massive fucking JBL outdoor speakers, the concert speakers. Because this is the only subwoofer that I think could actually, besides like the HSU, that I think could reach down low enough and take the abuse. And I could sit there with the app and just go, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, does it blend? Does it blend? Does it blend? Will it blend? Will it blend? It will blend. So if you're seeing this on Patreon and Subscribe Star, hello supporters. Congratulations, you get these videos for a hell of a lot longer than you used to. If you're watching this publicly, I hope they're still selling it. I feel like you don't drop an entire... I feel like... I'm just hearing like things rattling. I don't think they're selling all these at super reduction if they're not gonna try to do an updated to the line. If they're updating this line, I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to see what the fuck is coming out. Because this thing is the silliest of the silly boxes I bought for myself. Look at it go. Requiem for a Dream. Oh, fuck. All right, that is Gorilla's Strobolite Feet Pevin Everett. I don't even think you can you even see? Can I just get down on the floor and we're gonna just, oh, here we go. This is the angle. This is the angle you all want, isn't it? Anyway, I'm Zeospantera. This has been a review of a Subwoofer. By the way, it says faux leather, and it does have a nice like vinyl to it. It's like a really textured, like leather looking vinyl. Oh, God. Go away. Thank you for supporting me on Patreon and Subscribestar. If you're seeing this on there, congratulations. If not, join there, $5 a month, see reviews early, participate in yard sales, hear lossless sound demos, and you get access to all these videos way in advance. $10 a month, private behind the scenes Telegram chat, which guess what? They're gonna get a message today, the 5th of October, that this thing is on sale. So they get the first dibs on pretty much everything once you're a $10 patron. That automatically is ASMR. And then you also get into a lifetime swap meet channel to buy, sell, and trade gear, although I don't think anyone's gonna sell one of these. Like, I thought about maybe I wanna sell this. Fuck no. This is staying here forever.